Alrighty. Hey everybody, Steve here, the retired hobby tech guy. Today is going to be an interesting day because we're revisiting all the ways that you can get direct deposit right here. DFAS, VA disability, Social Security, all direct deposited into your foreign bank account. This is absolutely crazy. There's more stuff that has been brought to light, and for those of you who don't know, this could be a big game changer for those people that are worrying about money. Maybe you don't have access to a U.S. military bank on a U.S. military base, but you're retired here in Korea and you're tired of doing the WISE or international bank transfers. But WISE is pretty good. I have to admit, WISE is probably one of the better ones, and it has extremely low rates. But with that said, we're going to go down this trip and talk about DFAS. So those people that have a military retirement, you can get that direct deposited into a foreign bank account as long as it's within, the confines of an agreement that the United States has with other countries and so on and so forth. We'll go over the VA disability on how your VA disability checks can be transferred and direct deposited into your foreign bank account, in our example here in Korea. And then also Social Security can be direct deposited to a foreign bank account as well. This is absolutely crazy because let me give you a little story on what's going on here. But before we do that, please hit the like button. Okay, just take a couple of seconds to hit the like button, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'm going to take a swig so you all can do that. So you can take advantage of the videos that are going to be coming up in the future. And I appreciate that. It is a really big thing for you to like and subscribe and see the future videos on this and get more useful information. So we're talking about, the first thing we're going to talk about is DFAS. DFAS, back in the day, I actually called the Defense Finance and Accounting Service. And I said, hey, I'm planning on retiring overseas. Can I get a direct deposit of my military pension from the Army and have it go into a foreign bank account? Lo and behold, the rep on the phone said, no, you can't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. Okay, that was kind of the attitude that was given. I'm like, are you sure? And they're like, oh, no, you can't do that. You already have it set up in your American bank account, sweetie. You're all good to go. And I was like, okay, well, then obviously I'm just going to have to run with that. Recently, an individual, Mitch, you're an awesome guy, provided the information with proof. Now, this is the big thing. People say a lot of stuff, but they don't provide the proof. Mitch came up and rose to the challenge and actually had the link from DFAS showing that you can do this. So we're going to jump into this right now, and boom, there we are in DFAS. Defense Finance and Accounting Service, providing payment of services for the U.S. Department of Defense, which includes military retirees like you and me, if you're retired. International direct deposit. That is awesome. I mean, boom, there it is. International direct deposit is available to U.S. military retirees living in eligible locations overseas. IDD, electronically deposited funds on the first day of the month, and then obviously if it ends up, whatever the processing time is for your foreign bank, you might get a little bit of a delay, but yeah, we're in 2025. And just in the last video that I did, I was talking about this, about DFAS and how you could get your VA disability sent to a foreign bank account, but DFAS didn't. I said that statement based on the DFAS rep I talked to from many, many years ago before we retired here in Korea. And it was like, well, I guess that's it. I got it from the horse's mouth. Well, apparently the horse was a little lame, so we've got the updated information. This is really cool. So when you take a look at this, it says complete the form International Direct Deposit Enrollment. And that is the SF 1199-1, and mail it to this right here for retirees, and then SBP annuitants, beneficiaries, and survivors. You can find this information, and so you can either do a screen capture of this. The links will be in the description box down below. And of course, it says make sure that your form is accurately completed. I mean, you could always put my banking information on there, and I would gladly receive your retirement pay. Incorrect or incomplete forms will be returned unprocessed. You currently have your pay sent direct deposit to a financial stateside location. Do not close that account until we have verified receipt at your international bank. Otherwise, your pay will be returned to DFAS, causing additional delays, and we know how that goes. If you've had problems with DFAS in the past, either active duty or while retired, that can be like pulling teeth. So the safety and security of all this, it talks about this. So basically, countries where your international direct deposit from DFAS can go. And so it's in alphabetical order. And if we go down here, I mean, there's a lot. Let's see if we can make this bigger. So these are the countries A through F, Aruba, Jamaica, all of those places from the song I Sing Horribly. Cambodia, who knew? Canada, Cape Verde, Chile, Congo, Cyprus. I mean, look at the amount of countries. French Polynesia, Guyana, Haiti. I don't know why you'd want to go there, but just Iraq. Wow. I mean, all of these countries is where you can get your military pension direct deposited to a bank in those countries. And so if we go down here and what do we see? Boom, South Korea. So for the people that are living in South Korea or any of these other countries, yes, you will be able to get direct deposit of your military pension, which is amazing. And yeah, so that is incredibly awesome. So again, I will post the link for this in the description box down below. So with that, I have to post an apology and a correction of saying DFAS did not allow you to direct deposit, and that was based off of my conversation with a rep at DFAS many years ago, before we retired here in Korea, as we were checking out finances and how to do all this stuff. And so I'm ready to fess up and pass on that the information that I got from DFAS and that representative was wrong. So with that, there are some other things we're going to take a look at. What about VA disability? Now, we just went over this in the prior video, but I figured we'd rehash all of this. So let's take a look at that. So here we are at the benefits.va.gov, Persona, Vetra, Abroad, ASP, whatever it is. Link will be in the description box. And we see that veterans living overseas, you remain entitled to benefits and services. The VA benefits include payable regardless of your place of residence or nationality. Let's zoom in on that. Boom. Most VA benefits are payable regardless of your place or residence or nationality. And that includes your disability compensation, pension, education training, healthcare, home loans, insurance, voc rehab, employment, and burial. Home loans would be don't get too excited thinking you could get home loans from, for an overseas location. I'm sure there are some more hurdles that you would need to do. But there is a possibility of that there. So what you should know is once benefit payments are sent from the United States, your international direct deposit arrival depends on your foreign financial institution's processing time. Boom. So, you can provide them a physical address. That's the VA claim. And foreign schools, getting health care overseas, blah, blah, blah. How to get assistance. You would have to contact them because speak to VA Overseas Military Service Coordinator. Veterans who live in the Philippines. You can go to the Philippines Overseas page, which is awesome. It doesn't have really a link on how to do the direct deposit like we saw on DFAS. So you would obviously have to contact them about your disability compensation or pension and how you would be able to go through that. So that is really interesting. International Treasury Services will not charge you a currency conversion fee for payments sent overseas. However, your foreign financial institution may charge fees as applicable. So we've got that going on. Adaptive housing, blah, blah, blah. But again, you're going to have to get in contact with the VA to be able to do that. So all of that there. Assistance to general benefits, questions, international direct deposit. Here it is. Boom, we'll just highlight all that. Call us at the following phone number from 9 a.m. to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Send us an email at directtd.vbamus@va.gov. So there's the information. Do a screen capture, write it down. This link will be in the description box down below. So that way, if you want to get your VA disability payment direct deposited to your foreign bank account, boom, there you go. Another thing we're going to talk about is because for those of us who end up coming to Korea and retiring like we did, the wife and I, we sold everything in the United States. We got here and she had an F4 visa. I had an F1. It's now being renamed F3, apparently. Still the same thing. Spouse of somebody of a returning Korean citizen. And with that, getting kind of older. And if you've been working in the United States, been in the military, regular jobs or whatever, you pay into Social Security. So with that, as long as you get your quarters and your hours needed to qualify for Social Security, you can start drawing your Social Security benefits. And for somebody like me, I can start as early as 62, and it's about 70% of the full benefit. And then if you go to like 65, 67, 67, I think it's 100% or whatever it is, 70, there's a tiered level, and I forget the percentage for each year. There's something like that. But with that, you can get your Social Security overseas and direct deposited into your foreign bank account as well. So we're going to take a look at that. So let's jump on over here, and this is a USA.gov Social Security abroad, living outside the United States. If you are living outside, let me see if I can make this bigger. Most U.S. citizens can get Social Security benefits while visiting or living outside the United States. To find out if you qualify, how to apply, contact for help. You can learn if you can collect Social Security while living outside the U.S. Look up the country on the Social Security Payments Abroad screening tool. We're going to take a look at that. And use work credits from another country to qualify for Social Security. So I think there's probably obviously some type of agreement that the U.S. has with some other countries. And you can apply and manage for your Social Security benefits from outside of the United States by using this link here. So Social Security pays your benefits electronically through direct deposit. You can set up a direct deposit through a financial institution in the United States, but also any country which has international direct deposit agreement with the United States. And they provide a list of countries that they service. So once you begin receiving Social Security benefits abroad, they will send you a questionnaire every 1 to 2 years. This will determine if you're still eligible for benefits, i.e. if you're still alive, I imagine. If you don't respond, they will stop your benefit payments. Learn more about these questionnaires, and you can take a look about that PDF there. So yeah, getting help with your Social Security benefits while you're outside, there is the link there, and this was updated in March as 18th as of 2025. So this is some good information, and we're going to take a look at the list of countries where you could get your international direct deposit. And here's the list. So we've got all of these, and of course they've got the A's, and then it's another column. But yeah, you can see that there is a lot of places. So don't feel like if you're going to retire overseas that you're limited in being able to do the direct deposit, because these are a ton of countries everywhere around the world. Japan, Samoa, Jordan, Laos, just all kinds of places. South Africa, and what do we see there? Boom, South Korea. All of these places that you could get your direct deposit for your Social Security. And that's a lot of places. So yeah, that is pretty amazing. So you can do that. And if we go back to this page here, and it talks about, to look up the country, and there's a payment screening tool, and we're going to take a look at that. We click on this, and it brings us to the Payments Abroad screening tool. Let me get me out of the way here. Or maybe what I could end up doing is just do this. There we go. And this is a tool to help you receive your Title II Social Security payments outside of the United States and find out your retirement and all this. So it comes down here, and we'll just kind of make this bigger because we're all getting older and our eyesight's getting bad. Have you or do you plan to go outside the United States of these places? Yes. And so I'm just going to hit yes. And then it pops up again. It says, are you a U.S. citizen? In my case, yes. And in my wife's case, yes. And then, are you currently receiving disability and retirement payments on your own record? Well, I said yes last time, but let's see no and see what happens. Well, I guess it just goes to yes. Select a country or location outside the United States where you plan to go, and we can scroll all the way down to whatever country we want. And let's see, there it is. Even North Korea? Seriously? Let's just put North Korea just to see what it does. Payments outside the U.S. Treasury Department regulations prohibit sending payments to you if you live in Cuba or North Korea. Okay, so let's go back and let's just hit South Korea and see how that fares. And there it says, yeah, you may receive your payments in this country as long as you're eligible for them. So yeah, what we ended up doing is taking a look at the information for DFAS if you're getting a military retirement. And again, a little summary of I called DFAS and asked if I could get my direct deposit, my pension, sent to a Korean financial institution, my Korean bank, and they said no. So that was what the rep told me years back, but now we see on the official DFAS site that you can do that. So if you have been a victim of DFAS where somebody has said, hey, no, you can't do that, now you have the ammunition that you can say, well, according to the webpage, yes, you can. So you can nip that in the bud and get that fixed. So for the people that were wondering, this was the biggest thing, is you have people that want to come over here to retire. They have a spouse that has Korean ancestry. They have their own income stream and retirements or whatever, but they can't have access to a U.S. bank on a military base. So they can't get on base to get to the U.S. bank. So what are you left with? Well, as I pointed out in previous videos, you have like Citibank that is here in Korea. You have JP Morgan Chase. There was another U.S. bank. But Citibank is basically closing down all of their, I guess you could call them retail banking, so regular bank accounts for people, checking, savings, and so on and so forth. They're closing those down, and their banking is going to be corporate and investment banking. So you wouldn't be able to open an account unless you're a huge investment business banking type of person thing. Same thing with JP Morgan at Chase, is that is for international banking. And the other bank, I can't remember the name of it. Basically, it was the same thing. And they were saying, yeah, you're not going to be able to do that because we're not a retail service bank. It's more investment and corporate banking. So people are kind of like, well, how do I get money from from the United States into my Korean bank? Well, one of the options was Wise. And then now the second option is that you can have this direct deposited for your military pension, your VA disability, and your Social Security can all be direct deposited into a South Korean bank account, or whatever other country that are on those lists is applicable to you. So that is really good news for people that don't have access to a military base. And so anything in the past that I put out is saying that you couldn't. This is the updated information. The links will be down in the description box below so that you have the ammunition and the contact information so that you can do these things. Let me get a quick swig here. And the DFAS information was passed on to me to a guy named Mitch. And so if you see somebody on Mitch on here, give him a thumbs up and say thank you for providing that DFAS information. Because, yeah, I was just going what I was told by the DFAS clerk, who obviously didn't want to do their job or wasn't knowledgeable on all aspects of their job. So with that is some amazing information there, because now this should give comfort to those people who they can get the visas, but they're worried about how they're going to access their money and get their pension, their Social Security, their VA disability from the United States into a Korean bank account, and this is the way that you can do that. So, yeah, that is some great news. What are some other things? Oh, yeah, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate that. Many thanks if you would do that. Other than that, that's what we have going on. So feel free to pass this along to other people that are thinking about retiring overseas and the people who get a military pension, VA disability, Social Security. Those things can be direct deposited into foreign bank accounts as long as they're on the list. So anyway, that's it. We're going to close out this video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you absolutely need to contact me, use the email officialthevariedlife@gmail.com and like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. If you really want to do me a solid, you can buy me a coffee like these people in the ticker down below. They bought me coffee and appreciated the information that I put out in sharing how we have retired overseas and how I've done some 3D printing stuff and painting and whatever. Kind of a mishmash of what's going on, so you could do that as well. And if you do buy me a coffee, your name will be on the ticker down below, and I would have much respect for you. Okay, so that's going to be it. I am starving, so yeah, that's what we got going on. So we're going to let you go, and I'm going to go, and if you liked and subscribed, we will see each other again, and I look forward to that. All right? Okay, we'll see you on the next video. Man, good information. That is